Okay, now let's talk about multiplying and dividing integers. So when you're multiplying integers, the most obvious is if you had 3 times 4. Well, the first thing you should know is the different ways you can write this. Before this class, you normally write 3 times 4, but the times symbol and x are just alike, and more you can be using x, so we stop using the times symbol as much. So another way to write times would be to put a dot in between them. So this is 3 times 4. And another way would be to put parentheses. So if I put parentheses around the 3 and put 4 out beside it, that's 3 times 4. Or if I put parentheses around the 4 and not the 3, that's 3 times 4. Or if I put parentheses around both, that's still 3 times 4. So here 3 times 4 is 12, and these are all just 3 times 4. That's the first thing you need to know. Now, it's pretty simple when you're multiplying or dividing just two numbers to determine whether the answer is going to be negative or positive. If you're multiplying and you have one positive number times a negative number, your answer is going to be negative. So this would be 3 times 4 is 12, and I had one negative, so my answer is negative. If I have two negative numbers, like, well, let's use a different number. Negative 5 times negative 7. Here, my answer is going to be positive. So 5 times 7 is 35. And because I have two negatives, my answer is positive. So it's positive 35 or just 35. And that's pretty much all there is to it with multiplying. Now, with dividing, there's some new things you have to know too. So, if I had a number 6 divided by 3, this is how many times can 6 go in. This is how many times can 3 go into 6. So this is like if I were doing long division, 3 goes into 6 2 times. You have to be careful not to get that confused with 3 divided by 6, which would be 3 on the inside and 6 on the outside. So with dividing, it's the same thing. If I have, well, first let me say this. If you have a fraction bar like this, 10 over 2 is 10 divided by 2. So it is 10 divided by 2. Now 2 goes into 10 5 times. So that's all a fraction bar is. It's another way to write divide sign. But let's say we have a number like 48 divided by negative 6. Well, here our answer is going to be negative. And this is 48. And how many times does 6 go into 48? So far our answer is going to be negative. So that's 6 times 8. So our answer is negative 8. So that's if you have one negative. So if I have a negative on the top and I divide by a positive, then my answer is going to be negative. So negative 3. But it's the same thing if I have a negative on the bottom and a positive on the top. My answer is going to be negative. and 18 divided by 6 is 3. So my answer is -3. And then you have, if you have two negatives, so -50 divided by -10, which is how many times will 10 go into 50? And we'll know it'll go in 5 times. But with two negatives, your answer is going to be positive. So two negatives, your answer is positive. One negative, your answer is negative.